Look, when you look at 2022, overall, we met our full-year sales guidance. We delivered sales growth at constant currencies of 4%. And we beat on the bottom line with core operating income coming in at 8% growth for the full year. When you look at quarter four, I think the real story here is a strong core op inc performance. We grew core op inc at 15%. We're really seeing that restructuring program we announced earlier this year really coming into the numbers. Looking ahead for 2023, I think we gave very solid guidance of low to mid single-digit sales growth and mid to high single-digit core op inc growth, showing again that we're generating leverage in the business, continuing to grow. And we think as we get to the Sandoz spin, that story of a pure-play innovative medicines company is really coming to the fore.
Obviously, it's all about delivery. Now that the market understands the restructuring program, they just need to see you start to hit some of the key targets. Without going into all of the key innovative medicines names, which I think we don't have time for necessarily, what is, just give us a few of the highlights from those particular drugs right now and which ones are living up to the aspiration that you had for them and which ones need a bit more work.
Yeah, there's a few really bright spots I think that we're excited about. One, Entresto, our heart failure medicine, continues to grow extremely well. We have a drug for multiple sclerosis, Kesimpta, that's doing extremely well, as also well ahead, I think, of the external expectations. Kisqali in breast cancer really now coming into the fore, got some exciting guideline recommendations yesterday. And we have this amazing new drug called Pluvicto for prostate cancer, which is, I think, blowing out our own expectations and also the external world's expectations. We have a lot of work to do to get that launch going, and that's going to be a key focus for us going forward. I think looking ahead, it's really preparing for the launches for us. I mean, we have a bunch of launches ongoing, a bunch of launches coming up, drugs like iptacopan, Pluvicto, Scemblix, and we need to deliver on those launches in the coming quarters.
And what's happening in the pipeline as far as the early part of this year is concerned? Can you tell us a little bit more about what new drugs you're expecting to take through the trial process?
Yeah, a couple of important milestones. One is we have to file this new medicine we have, iptacopan, which treats a range of blood disorders as well as kidney disorders. We'll have some readouts at the end of this year for that medicine and then additional filings in the first part of next year. Delivering on all of those, we hope will allow that medicine to be a multi-billion-dollar medicine. And then with this drug, prostate cancer drug Pluvicto, we have an additional readout we'll announce. We've read it out, but we'll announce the full data later this year and get to a filing there. These two are really important. And then the third really big one the markets are watching is Kisqali in early breast cancer, where we would expect a full readout at the end of this year.
Obviously, we're rear-view mirror gazing a little bit on the fourth quarter numbers. We're already well into the beginning of the year now. Can you tell us how this year looks different from the trends you saw last year? Obviously, the world just continues to emerge here from the pandemic.
It's incredible. You know, Jeff, when you think about a year ago, we had a pandemic, and then shortly after that, we had, of course, the war in Ukraine kicking off. We had hyperinflation in many places. So we had a lot of challenges and headwinds in the first half of last year. Now we're seeing some of those things start to stabilize. So I think we're seeing healthcare systems stabilize a bit more. We're seeing China start to stabilize, and we expect a second half rebound in China. All of those are important tailwinds for a business like ours. So I think the year is off to a good start, and we feel confident we can deliver the guidance that we outlined this morning.
It's a bit of a moving target, though. I know last year you defined your focus on the US specifically, but you have a number of key markets. But those markets also have shifts taking place. IRA is going to have an impact in the US on medicines pricing, it seems. We've also got shifts in the legislative framework going on in Europe. Could you just talk a little to those and what you think they may mean for pricing for you and for margin?
So first, in the U.S., our guidance assumes for 2027, this mid-single-digit growth, 40% plus margin guidance, assumes the U.S. IRA. So we're fully prepared to offset the impacts of IRA. They are there, but we think we can, offset them in the near term. In the mid to long term, we have to really figure out how IRA is going to impact the kinds of medicines that we develop. We think there's some distortions in this bill that don't make sense. We hope we can get legislators to fix it, but that's going to be our real focus in the U.S. Now, Europe is a different story. We do see austerity measures coming in. We saw some problematic actions in the UK. We see problematic actions in other European, in the continent itself. And we really need, I think, European governments to rededicate themselves to healthcare, investing in innovation. We need a European Commission to create a more pro-innovation environment. And that's something we're going to be really focused on this year to create a better ecosystem in Europe where we're the largest pharmaceutical company.
What would you say the response has been so far to your pushback in the States and to a certain extent in Europe here? Because I get the sense that healthcare systems are struggling and governments are a little bit distracted by other issues right now. Do you feel that they're listening? Are you getting positive reactions?
I'd say it's limited thus far. You know, the challenge you have is 85% of the spend in most governments has nothing to do with expenditure on medicines and drugs. Sometimes it's 90% is other things. But we're an easy target. We're an easy place to focus on. I think in the U.S. over time, there's options to get to a better policy environment. I think there is some listening that's already happening, and that will come in the coming years. Europe is a bigger challenge, and I think there we really now have, as an industry, have to really push European governments to say, if you want to be a leader in the biotechnology segment, you have to be willing to invest in high-end innovation for the patients in your population.
Let's refocus on the announcement.
Hi, I'm Joanna Bersecci, and thank you for watching. You can check out more of our videos by clicking on the boxes on the screen. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more from CNBC International. Thank you for watching.